I want you to picture yourselves as fishermen, or fisher persons. If you're really serious about this, you're probably spending a lot of time thinking about how far you have to drive to get to the fishing hole and back, and which part of the fishing hole is going to be better and closer and less gas to get there and back and more comfortable, how much you spend on the rod and the reel, the bait, the tackle you bring, what your maintenance fees are on this, how much you can sell these fish for, and how many of those fish you have to sell to make it profitable. If you're serious about fishing, you are thinking of all these things, and you should be, and that's great. But there's someone who doesn't care a whit about any of that. The fish has no clue. The fish sees everything from the other side of the hook, and it's a very different point of view over there. As a marketer and an advertising guy, this is what I do with my clients every day. I help them try and think like the fish, to see their product from the other side of the hook. This is what we need to do in social media. We need to think of things from the other side of the Facebook page so that we can actually engage and possibly connect and give change a chance. Let me come up with an example how we do that. Let's see. Can you stand up for a second, please? Thank you very much. Can you just turn around and wave at everybody? Yes. Now, and what's your name?
My name's Lance.
Lance. Hey, Lance. Say hi to everybody.
Hey.
Say hi, Lance. There we go. Lance came out tonight, sitting right in the front row, really keen. Probably doesn't realize that the shirt he's wearing is not the best. In fact, it's kind of a bad color for his skin tone. It bunches funny when he sits down. The material looks a little rough, and he's trying to work you, but it's just not flying. Now, I'm totally kidding. I seriously, I like the shirt. I might steal it off your back later. But how did you feel when I started attacking your shirt?
Felt like you're attacking my shirt.
Felt like it was was there anything you wanted to say to me?
Pardon?
Was there anything you wanted to say to me?
It's not nice.
Well, it's not nice. No, exactly. And Lance is a very polite gentleman. I guarantee you. You can have a seat, Lance. Thank you. And thank you for indulging me, because seriously, I love the shirt. But I already created a situation of conflict by doing what I thought was a good thing and pointing out what was wrong with his shirt. And there's nothing wrong with his shirt. In fact, as I was doing it, all of you might have felt a moment where you liked me a little less. Some of you may not have had far to go, and that's fine. But in that moment, you also were willing to discredit anything I'm about to say. Doesn't matter if it's right, doesn't matter how provable it is. If we could scientifically, empirically prove that that shirt is bad, I still kill my idea by attacking that shirt before it even gets said. So here's the first brain stretch I want you to do, and this is the big one, this is the tricky one, this is counterintuitive. I want you to think not of what's wrong with the system, because that's easy. It's easy to say what's wrong, to criticize something. Raise your hands if you think oil is bad for the environment. Okay, there's a few people who didn't raise their hands. Either they think this is TV, or you're crazy. No, I'm kidding. And yet, how fast has the adoption of new energy technologies been? Not. So attacking things, not the right approach. It doesn't look good from the other side of the hook. What we need to do is try and figure out what's right with the system we want to replace. What's working in that system? Because someone, or several someones, are benefiting very nicely from that system in place. So we need to think of those fish that hold the reins to that system. Yes, I'm mixing my metaphors, get used to it. And we need to see what's right with their system, because what's right with the system in place becomes the scorecard. And that scorecard is what your new big, beautiful idea will get measured against. An oil baron doesn't care about the environment. They've either come to terms with it or they've denied it. So saying what's wrong with oil isn't going to work. Your new idea, wind, solar, kittens and wheels, whatever, has to measure against the things that are right with oil as a fuel source. So we have to start thinking about what's right. And how can we do that in social media? Social media has turned everything into a conversation, not a diatribe. And what's the one skill Mama said was the important thing in a conversation? Oop. That was just a caveat for me attacking someone else's fashions. Listening. Listening is important. And yes, it's true. Even Instagram can't make a self-portrait of my ear look sexy. And to think Facebook just bought them for $1 billion. Fools. We have to listen to what's going on out there. Try following someone you don't agree with, someone you don't like. See what they're saying. See what they're raving about. See why their way makes them happy. If they say something you don't get, engage with them. Don't challenge them. Don't criticize them. Find out. Do your research. Do your due diligence. And find out what's right with that system. Because then you know the scorecard that your new idea is up against. Now say you've crafted your idea. You've learned all this. You've found a way that that idea can actually stand its own against the current system. How do you make sure you get heard? How do you get that idea across and cut through the noise? Story. Raise your hands if you know who this is. Okay, keep them up. Put them down if and only if you knew who this was before the Invisible Children Coney 2012 campaign. There's a few hands still up in the air and a few people who aren't trying to deny that they didn't know who this was. Now, we're not going to talk about the tenuous premise of this. We're not going to talk about the fact that it describes a situation that technically is 6 years old. We're not going to talk about the fact that the money for this was probably going to go to make more awareness videos and not actually land on the ground in Uganda. We are not even going to mention the words that people in Uganda who didn't know this was going on and found out later were offended at how oversimplified it was. I'm not going to say any of those things. But this broke viral video records to pieces. Almost 100 million views in the first week. Old Spice guy didn't get that. And it broke the rule about 2 to 3 minutes for a viral video. We used to think that's how long it could be. Any longer than that, people stopped paying attention. This thing's half an hour long. And 100 million views in a week. Why? Because it is a cleverly crafted, wonderfully produced, beautiful, heartwarming, heartstring-tugging story. And in fact, those facts and figures, well, they're not really that important. A good story will make you feel. And people don't change their behavior because of what they think. They change their behavior because of what they feel. You need to find the story in your big ideas. Not only that, TED Talks have talked about story and the magic of story for a long time. Not only that, but story has changed in the new world of social media. Story used to be unidirectional. Story used to be author to reader. But now, stories can truly be interactive. And we can actually hand the reins of stories over to other people so they can become co-authors in the narrative of what's going on, which is kind of amazing when you really think about it. This has been happening with big companies and their brands for a few years now. They shape the brand, they nudge the brand, they guide the brand, but it's their true fans that actually own and define the brand. Some companies have embraced that. Some companies have not. Ask Starbucks and The Gap how their logo changes went, and they can tell you all about this. So we can now take these stories and give the reins to the other people so they can be truly involved, so they can be part of the authorship of these stories. And there's one more step that we have to take. One more thing we have to do. We have to go beyond the share. It's easy to share a story. Sharing is slacktivism. Sharing is your get-out-of-guilt-free ticket. I've just shared the Coney video. I'm going to go down to Starbucks and have a cup of non-free trade coffee, guilt-free. It's too easy. It's way too easy. That's part of why this video was shared so much. And in fact, in the video, they asked you to share it. That was one of their calls to action. But something else Coney did really, really well is their other call to action was what I think is the best way to go beyond the share. And that's to engage in a real flesh and blood, interactive, human-to-human, community-type event. 2 nights from now, April 20th, as part of the Coney campaign, people are going to be covering the night. That means they're going to be going out in their Coney t-shirts, which show that they're important people who are trying to change the world. They're going to be wearing their little string bracelets that show they're both trendy and retro at the same time. And they're going to be postering cities all over the place with other people. Some that they've met, some that they haven't. This is an actual flesh and blood community experience. This is something social media doesn't give us. It facilitates conversation and connection, but until you've really had that connection, it doesn't exist. I mean, you're all proving that by being here right now. If this wasn't important, you wouldn't be here. You'd be at home waiting for these videos to be uploaded so you could stream them from the comfort of your own living room. We live to breathe the air of big ideas. We want to be in the same space as each other. We want to have actual community experiences. And that's something Coney did well. And that's something your big ideas also need to do, to appeal to the fish, to look good from the other side of the hook. Technology has changed so much that our ideas are spreading rapidly, rampantly. They're mixing, they're mingling. They're having a few drinks, they're flirting, they're getting a little carried away, and they're breeding other ideas. And those little ankle biter ideas have the potential to grow up to be world changers. But if we sit back and expect someone else to do the heavy lifting of change for us, it's not going to happen. Social media is not the magic bullet. Neither are cell phones that weren't turned on. Although a magic bullet would be nice right now. No. We need to take these big ideas that we have, these world changers, these things that could actually make the world a better place. And we need to do our due diligence. We need to stop complaining about the idea that's in place and listen and do the research as to why that idea is good, so that our idea can be as good or better, so that we know what the scorecard is. We need to find the stories in our new ideas, and then give the reins of those stories to the people we're sharing them with. And finally, we have to go beyond the share and find a way to make the call to action in your big idea involve real human presence. Because that's something that can't be replaced. That's something we're all starving for. I think we owe it to these great ideas, to ourselves, to our future, to our kids, to whatever, to actually do the hard work of change. Social media isn't going to do it for us, but it's given us some tools that can allow us to do it better than we ever have before. Thank you.